there, it's Linda here. Thanks so much for joining me today as I play with my alcohol pearls and make a couple of thank you cards with my new Altenew Broken Chevrons stencil. I don't end up using the alcohol lift ink, but I certainly do have a lot of fun with my alcohol pearl goodies. So you just saw me smothering my Yupo paper card front with alcohol blending solution, and now I'm adding my alcohol pearl colours. I had forgotten to give them a good shake first, so you will see me doing that as I get going with different colours. And I picked up this blower at the craft show in Brisbane a month or so back, and it is a godsend rather than me having to get my head down in the way with a straw and blow the inks around, which does work, but this certainly saves you from passing out and keeps your head and your hair and your grey hairlines out of the video. So I did find it very useful today, and it certainly got a really good workout. So I'm just showing you the process as I build up all the layers here with my alcohol pearls, using lots of the blending solution to sort of get things moving around, and using the blower to move the inks and try and get them blending. I was a bit unhappy with the gold here, the fact that it was just sort of splotchy and wasn't moving, so I'm adding some more colours over the top and some more of the blending solution to try and get that gold dissipating and blending a bit better. So I gradually get to a point where I'm quite happy with the way things are looking and moving, and that's when I put it aside to dry. But it's a process, it really is. You just go back and forth, and you stop when you're happy, which, you know, is different for everybody. Now here I'm again with my greeny blue version this time. So again, I've covered the background with lots of alcohol blending solution, probably a bit too much because everything just was moving, as you can see here, very, very easily, a bit too watery. So maybe a little bit too much blending solution there, but certainly I had no trouble blending these colours together on this version. They were just swimming around themselves quite happily. Really wanted a lot more blue in it, so I went back and added quite a bit of the blue, and using my little blower, my hand blower, just to get the movement there amongst all the colours. Drying things off a bit because it is so wet. I use my heat tool here just to sort of dry off a lot of that liquid, and then I was able to sort of lift it up and clean up underneath on my glass mat and then go again. Now in this little shallow bowl here, I've put some isocol, the rubbing alcohol antiseptic, and I just wanted to see what sort of look I got when I added that. Well, I got a headache, I tell you that, because I didn't have enough ventilation in my craft room, being that it's winter and things are all a bit closed up, so I learned a lesson from that. Again, here I'm using some more of the isocol just to try and get a bit of movement with the blue drops that I had blopped on. And in this case, I'm adding some of the silver alcohol pearls or alcohol ink to the isocol, because sometimes, like when you saw me adding the gold on the pink version I've just done, it just landed in blops and it didn't really move. So you'll see on this background here now I've managed to get much more of just a light lines of the silver, which is really, really pretty. Okay, so now I'm smattering on some of the blending solution, trying to get that dotty sort of look, which I absolutely love. And I just splattered it on first of all from the paintbrush, and then decided that it wasn't exactly going where I wanted to, so I just started painting it on myself, dotting it on with the paintbrush exactly where I wanted the little dots to go, and I was really, really happy with how that turned out. And I did the same then with my pink version, just dotting it on exactly where I want it to go, trying to particularly get some of that gold to sort of, well, fade out, I guess, in a way, just sort of blend a little bit more with the colours rather than just being so much just sort of like a blotch of the gold. But I do love the look you get when you just dot on with a paintbrush the blending solution. And here's the end result for my two card fronts. I couldn't stop, it kept going. So I'm just using here some removable adhesive, just sticking that down to my craft mat, and then here's the gorgeous Altenew Broken Chevron stencil, and I'm just taping off or masking off with the blue painter's tape a portion of the stencil on the left hand side of my alcohol inked piece, and I'm going to use some beautiful gesso to get a really nice bright white effect through the chevron stencil down this left hand side. I love gesso and the beautiful bright white look that you get from it. So just smoothing over, making sure I've got a good even coverage of the gesso before I finish up and remove the tape and the stencil. And then of course you've got to put it aside to dry and make sure you don't knock it at all. And then for my second background, because I had the silver details on this background, I decided I was going to use a silver texture paste. It's a glitter paste, and I've masked off again with the painter's tape a pattern with the chevrons. I counted three chevrons or 3 lines, and taped off each side, and then laying on quite a thick amount of the silver glitter paste because I do want this to have quite a bit of texture. It is difficult to get this off, and for a minute here I thought, oh my gosh, it's going to fall back in it and it's going to ruin it. So there was a little bit of a tense moment there, but luckily got it off and it dries perfectly, and we end up with this absolutely gorgeous texture. Now another new little something in my stash are these Hero Arts Infinity dies that create this gorgeous frame, and the largest one, showing you the measurements of it there, that's what I used with white cardstock, and I backed it on some craft foam, and I've added that around the outside of my Yupo piece with the alcohol inks. And then I'm going to adhere together these 2 die cuts. This is of course an Altenew word die, and I'm putting the 2 together, adding that to the card with some sequins, and my first card is finished. And then it's a matter of using the same word just in white for my green and blue version, and again some coordinating sequins, and my 2 cards are complete. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed watching this process, and I hope to be back again soon.